You and Corey looked shocked. You were like looking at Corey, looking at Luke, then even looked at the camera. Later on, you claimed that you didn't hear him. So what did you think in that moment that you heard?
You would just have to understand Luke, right? Luke was very talkative.
So when she spoon and like a BB moment, which is like a beautiful black moment. Did we get any of those in this episode?
Black.
We have a chaotic vibe moment of the
Chaotic vibe moment. And you're watching Black by Reality.
Black by Baddies.
And those who love us.
Oh, hello, hello.
Hi, Hisam. I'm Nicole Weaver of Black by Reality. I'm so happy to talk to you today.
Me too. I'm happy to meet you.
Yeah. My first question is, what was it like being the only gay man in the house this season? There were a few queer people that you tried to have, like, I wouldn't say alliance, an agreement with. How,
Yeah.
how far were you trying to take that?
Well, Izzy and I were actually in a final two.
Yes.
Right. So she named it It Takes Two. I thought we were going to the very end. I didn't realize that in the midst of playing her game that she would cut me so early. And because I had sort of chosen her to be sort of my ride and die to the end, I never really questioned anything that she said. And maybe that's my detriment, because that's how I end up getting evicted. She's a part of that. But yeah, like, how did it feel being the only gay man? Like, it's not unusual to be the only gay man in spaces like this. So I wasn't surprised. What I wanted to do was show myself as authentically as I could, but as a gay man that basically was proud of who they were and deserving to be there. I think a lot of times that LGBT people make accommodations and basically sometimes put ourselves in a place where we're like, we don't belong, but we absolutely belong and we deserve to be in the space that we are in. And I wanted to make sure that other house guests realize, like, I deserve to be here just like you, and I'm going to be fiercely competitive. And you will see sort of like, what does it mean to be sort of Hisam?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, you are Izzy's number two, and now you're finding out she's so close to Cirie and Jared, who are a mother-son duo. So it doesn't look like the best situation for her, but what do you think of her decision of cutting you so early?
Well, I mean, I think that she was smart enough to realize and had told me she could not beat me. And she knew that. And I think that she was sort of looking at her other options. For me, I would have taken her to the very end, right? And I would have been happy with either result, whether her winning or I winning, to be honest. I think from her calculus, she just felt like she knew Cirie from Survivor. I think she knew that Cirie brought her alliances to the final two multiple times. And because of that, she hitched her wagon there. And I can't blame her for that.
All right. Going back before the week of your eviction, fans first saw Luke say what he said on the live feeds. You and Corey looked shocked. You were like looking at Corey, looking at Luke, then even looked at the camera. Later on, you claimed that you didn't hear him. So what did you think in that moment that you heard?
You would just have to understand Luke, right? Luke was very talkative. He would say things that were off the cuff and offhanded. Most of the time, I wasn't really paying attention to what he was saying. To be honest, I was just moving forward. I didn't hear it, and if I had heard it, I would have responded. Like, I have very close friends that would never forgive me for allowing that to happen. In addition, as a doctor, I want to make sure that people who live in the BIPOC space feel safe with me. That includes basically not condoning abusive language. And that was more important to me than winning the money. And so had I heard it, he would have been confronted 100%. I am not complicit in racism, but CBS handles it appropriately and he's evicted.
Yeah. So in the moment Jared said that he was on the ledge, you, after the whole debacle, did say that you were praising Luke for willing to walk on the edge, and then you talked about it with Jared and said Luke realized he went too far. Jared replied, he said, "Oh shit, I don't think I should have said that." So again, what did you think in that moment that he
I
said?
didn't know what had happened. right? And I was responding to the fact that like Luke does this boundary testing, and as someone who's a psychiatrist, I could see he was boundary testing. Now what I didn't know is that he had crossed the boundary, right? And if I had known he had crossed the boundary, then my response would have been very different, right? But you only know what you know, and you only heard what you heard, and I had not heard it. Right now, if we're going to play back and I had heard it, then of course at the minute I heard it, like you would have gotten a response from me. And that's just the truth. And I know that there's some confusion of whether I heard or did not hear, but I can assure you, and my friends can attest you, I did not hear that.
Yeah, it was very interesting when the house did come together to talk about it. Corey was the one who explained the situation, and it seemed like Corey actually got a bit of backlash for that in the house. Was there ever a discussion between you and Corey claiming that you didn't hear? Some people felt like piecing together afterwards because the feeds kept cutting, honestly. And anytime his name popped up, it would cut. But it sounded like there was some kind of discussion between you and Corey, and with fans piecing things together, they're like, well, maybe Corey said something about you claiming not to hear. Can you clarify anything about that?
Oh, what I will say is that, my relationship with Corey is complicated. I would say that I will let Corey share what he feels like he needs to share. From my perspective, what I can tell you is I didn't hear it. I honestly did not. If I had, I would have said something. And that's just where we are. But yes, I think if Corey wants to go into greater detail, he can. But to me, it's like, I'm moving on.
I think the only question I have, you had such hard stances in the house about honesty and integrity. If you would have made it to the jury house, which I think a lot of them did not want you there,
They did not.
What kind of juror do you think you would have been? Would you have held the possible winner accountable of if they had an honest game, or would you looked at things a little bit differently?
I realize this game is about deceit, right? And people are going to be making accommodations to win. But I will say, like, I am going to choose the very best winner that I had felt represented good qualities. I mean, we're giving $750,000 to somebody. We want to make sure that the money that we're giving away or awarding is going to go to someone who deserves it. Right. And I really do believe so many times we see people who may not be as deserving really succeed. And I really wanted an opportunity to show people, no, you can do the right thing and still win. And so what kind of jury would I have been? Yeah, I would have held people accountable. I hold people accountable the entire time in the house. The thing is that I was upfront and open about it, and some other people in the house were not. And so that's how I end up basically becoming public enemy number one and evicted, and last Thursday.
Yeah. All right. That's all our time together. Thank you, Hisam.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.